27th, 7-7. The final day before the All-Star break. 11-game slate. There's the notification.
There's the YouTube notification.
My phone lit up like a Christmas tree too when I heard it. We've got a nice slate. Pitching is scary to me. I just see like 8 or 9 guys with the exact same capabilities depending on their price tier. So it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. Emac, how's your holiday weekend?
It's good. It's busy. It's been never ending. I was telling you, a big project launching on Monday, doing merit for my company for 17,000 people. So yeah, it's been a working weekend. I let myself have a couple tasty beverages last night, but otherwise it's been nose to the grindstone, and we'll be working late into the night tonight. So there we go.
Yeah, I had a couple tasty beverages yesterday and on the 4th, and I'm ready for July to be over.
Thank God there's only 3 more weeks.
Yeah, we're not close. I'm ready for holidays to be over at this point. Yeah, XX Hustle X. Yo, Ben Askren. Yeah, Ben Askren. It did not go well for Ben Askren last night in the UFC. That's for sure.
Was that the guy that got knocked out in 5 seconds?
It is. That was not fun for me. But what are you gonna do? All right, let's hit the normal plugs. Live Before Lock is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you want to come and check us out, all you have to do is enter that promo code, Live Before Lock. When you go to the join page, you pick your package. You'll see a little piece of text that says, have a coupon code, ? Click on that. That's where you put it. That's all you got to do. It's super simple. What else do we need to plug? That's probably it for plugs, right?
The Yahoo.
They are not our presenting sponsor on Live Before Lock, so I love giving them credit, and I love those guys. If you want to check out anything for Yahoo, Emac dropped the link in chat. Can't give them too many goods. They need to up the pricing for it. If they want to buy the Live Before Lock show, they can have it.
It's all theirs. But in any event, third paragraph, $30, Yahoo Sports Rewards points, free with your initial deposit bonus. There you go.
Today is a really weird day in DFS. I can't make heads or tails of the top of pitching, and lucky for me, our ownership seems to be in the same sort of thought process. Morton, Corbin, Nola, Wheeler, Bauer, Price, all between 10 and 16%. 8% going to Hendricks. 21% going to James Paxton at 8,800 for whatever he's going to do when he goes out here. And the chalk pitcher of the day is 5K Trent Thornton against the Orioles. What do we do here? What is going on? How do we have so many quality starters at the top and nobody breaking for it? Is the pricing great? Do the matchups just happen to be working out well? I don't know what to make of this, and I don't know what to do. Do you have a pitcher that's standing out to you the way that Trent Thornton is standing out to the public?
I'm going to be – so I set my projections here or my ownership caps. So I've got Morton at 15, Corbin – and I haven't run crunches yet. But so this is where I'm comfortable with compared to the field. So Morton, I'm at 15. So that's about with the field. Corbin, I'm doubling up to 30. Wheeler, I'm coming in a little over at 20, but I'm hearing and seeing his name a lot. But so I think our projections may come up a little bit. Paxton, I'm coming in 5% less on. The price is fine. He's gone the pitches like he's gotten the number of pitches that are reasonable, but he hasn't been great this year, and he's been dealing with injuries. So it makes me nervous to go with him. Bauer is the guy I'm coming in at. We have him at 11. I've got him at 35, and I'm going to make sure I get at least 25 to 30.
Yeah.
Nola, we've got at 13. I've got at 20. David Price, we've got at 10. I've got at 30. So I like that matchup against Detroit. And then everybody else is kind of, I got Thornton, I went 40 on, but I'm going to make sure I have probably 10% Baltimore stacks.
Okay. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's just one of those volatile spots where I mean, Thornton's fine. He's 5K, lets you do a lot of stuff. But if you look at him, and my debate was, do I write up Baltimore, or do I go with Baltimore as my stack in the stacks article, or do I go with Toronto? And ultimately, I landed on Baltimore, Toronto, because Asher Wojciechowski is just not good.
No, he is not.
I mean, he's been in the minors for 10 years. He's made it up with 3 different teams every other year. He's had multiple runs with different teams. It's just he's a journeyman. So I just said, I can't get there. But I love Toronto. I love Washington. I love Boston. The Cubs, batting eighth. We've got what's that? I just had my name. Robel Garcia. 2,200 on DK, 2,000 on FanDuel, and Yahoo knows something. He's 16 over there. Don't spend 16 for him there.
Did you see his ownership on FanDuel right now and on DraftKings?
I haven't looked.
36 on FanDuel at the flat minimum, 30% on DK at 2,200. You found your second base cash option, guys.
Yeah, there you go. And zero problem with him. He's decently talented.
Yeah.
He just happens to be, it's American League Park. So they don't have to worry about the pitcher. So he happens to be the guy that gets bounced down to the bottom of the order. But he could just as easily, talent-wise, be ahead of Caratini or Jason Hayward, in my opinion. So
yeah, he's got legitimate power, or at least projects to. I'll be interested to see how much of him I get. Cubs project as the top stack, but a lot of that is just because he is making up, 50% of their ownership.
Well, and Kyle Schwarber too. Helpful.
Yes, Schwarber at 22.
So here's fun with numbers. Let me see if I can get a good question.
We just got an ownership update, actually.
Okay, so Ivan Nova, 32 years old. He's been just horrible. He had 3 okay seasons there with Pittsburgh, but this year 5.9 ERA, 1.6 WHIP, 19 home runs allowed, which is 10th, 11 to lefties, 8 to righties in 94 innings.
Not great.
He's not good. His advanced metrics, 394 WOBA, 230 ISO to lefties this year with just a 13% strikeout rate, 380 WOBA, 200 ISO, and a 17% strikeout rate to righties this year. Wow.
Oh, God.
How did I spell Wilson Contreras' name wrong? I know there's 2 L's in Wilson. Everybody has 2 L's in Wilson. Jeez.
4% ownership right now going to Nova on DK. We just got that most recent update. David Price down, not in double digits at 9%, tied with Kyle Hendricks, but it's a spread of all these guys at the top, and then a popular Joe Musgrove, a popular guy whose name I'm going to whiff on, or Urquidy. Am I whiffing on that?
I think that's right.
You know what? We'll go with it. He's projected for 21% ownership right now. Where are you landing on Jose Urquidy? And if I'm wrong, we'll just assume that it's actually supposed to be Urquidy.
Yeah, I just learned last night, and I literally, and I was messaging Adam about this, and he's like, "Oh, I know. I said the same thing. It's Jeimer Candelario. It's not Heimer Candelario." I literally had no idea.
Neither did I, and I ride for that dude constantly.
I know. So Adam and I were like, Adam said, he goes, I even asked Manny about that when we were on Fanby shows together. He goes, there is no J sound. He said, Manny's like, yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. But this whole time I thought, Heimer, of course that's because it's Jaime. No.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really normal. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be hard. Candelario seems like a way harder thing to say, but apparently that one's the easy part.
Yeah, but I had the game on, and it was on my computer because I was up in my office doing work, and I heard him say it, and I'm like, did they just say that? And I'm like, is this the out-of-town broadcast? How are they screwing this up? So I went to YouTube, 3 different clips, different games, different. It's like, oh God, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Same, man. Same. Forever. And I ride hard for that dude. Yeah. Turns out I'm just a horrible person.
It's like Jan Mahimny, that half his family calls him Ian and the other half calls him Jan. What are you going to do?
Yeah. If your family's not even willing to get it right.
So, in any event, I'm sorry, but there was a question buried in there. You were asking about Urquidy.
Yeah, 21% ownership. He's like the opposite version of Trent Thornton for today, I guess.
Yes. So not the easiest matchup, of course, going against the Angels, but he's coming off not the easiest matchup. I believe he was the kid that made his debut in Colorado earlier in his last start, I think. And top of my head, I want to say 4 innings he went. I can look that up real quick, but that's kind of a tough place to start. Let's see. Down in the minors, he had a decent strikeout rate. So he went 81 pitches in Colorado, gave up 2 runs, 6 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts, 8 ground balls, which is nice to see. He's someone I'm okay with mixing and matching. A little more, I think, on that 2 o'clock slate is where he will come in for me.
Okay.
But I don't hate it. And let me go see what I have set the old cap at for him. I've got him at 20.
Okay.
I think we have him at 25-ish. I haven't pulled in our last update. But so I'm okay going with the field, but I'm going to hit crunch here in a minute and see where I'm going to land on these. I just had time this morning to kind of leisurely walk through these and compare what I thought I wanted versus what we had. And, of course, it all changes once you actually hit the button. So.
Yeah, that Urquidy ownership is the only one that stands out to me as like troublesome. I'm not sure that's a spot where I'm going to be even near the field. It wouldn't shock me if I have 1% of him, which is a little concerning. But at the same time, if he's the guy that kills me today, I think I'm willing to make my bed and lay in it.
Yeah, and I don't know how much he's going to kill us. 80 pitches against the Angels, who don't strike out a ton.
Exactly. That's a weird. It's just a weird spot for him. I don't entirely get it. I have the Angels grading out as like my 4th ranked stack. I'm pulling in Alex's projections right now. I don't get the sense that it'll change all that much for me. So I'm figuring I'm going to end up with just an absolute ton of Angels because of that ownership. I haven't run any crunches yet either. Still waiting on that Twins lineup. So if Jake is around, can you let your people know? I'd really like to be able to run some crunches kind of early, but I'm sure that lineup will come out at 11:04 or 1:04 or something just to really make it annoying.
Now, the one thing we do want to call out there, and I don't think this is messing with their starting lineup unless they're going to decide to, why are we even bothering pitching Kyle Gibson if we're only going to have him go 2 innings? Let's just have him throw on the side.
I don't get it.
And call it a day.
And I really liked him on FanDuel today before I found out that I'm not able to like him today. I'm not too interested in Devin Smeltzer. Are you?
I'm okay with it, but I'd be better off if Gibson wasn't going, because Gibson really could go 2. If it was just a guy who was going to go 1, Smeltzer, I went and looked. He's pitched a couple in the majors. He went back to the minors, had a couple in the mid 80s for pitch count. So I'm like, okay, he could get 80 pitches. But then the problem is managers like to screw around once we get to the 6th inning. And so even if he's having a great game, is he really going to go more than 4 innings?
Especially on the day, and this is something that we should probably have a little conversation about, and you're probably a bit more well-versed in this than I am.
Because this is the last 30 times.
You have more experience in this industry than I have. I've rarely paid attention to this. This is the last day before the All-Star break. I think we all know that. That means that basically it's all hands on deck. Like, you're either you can pitch, you can break through your entire bullpen today if you want to. Nobody has to go deep. You don't have to drive anybody into the ground, because without question, everybody's getting like 4 days off. So Smeltzer could throw 4 innings and that's fine, but so can a lot of these pitchers. There's nothing stopping David Price from throwing 4 innings and the Red Sox being like, okay, whatever, it's the Tigers, and calling it a day. Or, I mean, anybody basically. The only, Trevor Bauer is going to be like, no, I'm good. I'm going to throw 165 pitches today because I'm Trevor Bauer. But this could break out very differently, and it's probably going to tilt. Like, someone's probably going to come out earlier than they should, and it's going to tilt someone.
This is like a Kyle Hendricks goes 3 innings kind of day with Joe Madden. That's what you feel. Or Dave Roberts in the late slate does something silly with, now granted it's Ross Stripling. Here's the example though. Stripling's up to about 80 pitches. They want to extend him. Why? He's going to have a whole, basically a week off, probably 10 days till his next start.
Yeah.
Because of the break. So
yeah, they're not running him back in the first game.
Right. So are they going to run him up to 95 pitches because he's going to have time off? Or are they just going to say, yeah, you know what? We'll keep working you up. You're going to go 60 today. You just don't know, and that's the hard part today. It's like the last day of NBA basketball.
Yeah,
get the guys that go out there and start because they're the starters, and they get the little wave to the fans. They get their little ovation when they leave, and then it's the Portland Trailblazers running 6 people you've never heard of for 48 minutes apiece.
Hey man, they love that Anthony Simons.
Yeah, but it's one of these very it's an oddity. So I see Bama texting saying you're making him nervous. So we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, last night, Spags and I were all fired up for Chris Davis. We agreed that yes, he's been dinged up. Yes, he's been harboring various injuries and maladies throughout the season, and he's in a slump. But he was so cheap, and he was on half my lineups. And someone was telling us that we were idiots for taking him. And it's like, well, yeah, we probably are. But Mike Trout's going to go over 4 some of these days. I pulled away from the Mets and Phillies game because I thought that was going to get rained out. I mean, everything pointed to it. It got worse and worse the whole time. No problems. I mean, They play a little bit wet, but no problems. It's like, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. We can guess at it. We're just saying today there's probably more volatility than any other day. Much like, the night somebody clinches their pennant, the next day they're running out all the September call-ups.
Yeah. Whoever the normal catcher is probably isn't in that one.
Yeah.
No, and it's not as if we think that any one guy is like more or less likely than others, but just be prepared for shenanigans. I don't think there's a way to change your thought process here, and no one is getting enough ownership at the top that I think that it becomes problematic. Like, it's not like they're going to pull Trent Thornton early. That guy just doesn't go deep anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's something to pay. Someone's gonna get tilted by an early exit of a pitcher that isn't necessarily needed. I don't know, like Mike Clevenger a couple days ago, for example, coming out at 70 whatever pitches.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still aggravated.
Here's one. Looking at the Nationals, they don't really need wins today. Anthony Rendon was talking about maybe he won't partake in the All-Star festivities because he's kind of dinged up and would like some days of rest. Would it shock anybody if they pull him after 2 at-bats and say, you know what, it's 90 degrees and humid as hell right now in D.C. It was so hot out here this morning. My dog didn't want to go for a walk. She went to the end of our yard and looked back at me and was like, nah, I'm going to do my business and we're going back inside. She loves to walk every freaking morning, whether I want to or not. She's like, yeah, I'm good.
I could relate. What have we got going on right now? It's 12:20.
We should probably answer some actual questions.
96 right now, so it could be worse for me.
Oh, wow. That is... I got to see what it is here.
We will have a feels like temperature of 101 at 3 o'clock. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, we have thunderstorms coming in a couple hours, so we're only going to get up to 87.
Speaking of thunderstorms, do you have any concerns with weather today? It looks like we've got some spotty showers in a couple spots, but nothing that we have to be overly concerned about.
Oh, I didn't appear to be concerned about it yesterday, and 2 of the afternoon games were delayed by 3 hours. Yeah, the ones I didn't care about were delayed. Thankfully, they played. The ones I did care about and thought were going to be gone played. So, again, I'm not a weather person. Let me get up a weather page here because typing and talking is not always my strong suit. I didn't think there was anything.
Nothing stands out to me as something that I'm like terribly worried about.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be all the usual places that anything East Coast or South Atlantic, so and Midwest is going to be. There might be pop-up showers.
Right.
That's just is what it is. I was at the Nationals game a few years ago where literally there were basically no clouds in the sky. It was hot, sunny as hell. And all of a sudden it literally started just pouring right over the stadium when there really wasn't any clouds. And we could all look outside the stadium and it wasn't raining. And everybody just sit there and laughed. And it was so refreshing because you're like, oh my God, why are we even here? Why didn't we get club seats? But it was the weirdest thing. Literally rained only over the stadium. And then it lasted like 5 minutes and then it was done. And then 20 minutes later, it was like it never rained. You were dry and you were still wet because it was so freaking hot. But weird stuff like that can happen.
Jake is here to let us know that the Minnesota Jakes lineup is in.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting that in, buddy. Appreciate it. I don't know who you had to call to make that go through, but it's always good to have somebody with connections to the team. Anything interesting? Jake, why are we doing this Smeltzer Kyle Gibson thing? What are you doing here? I kind of liked Kyle Gibson on FanDuel earlier today, but you're kind of ruining it.
I know. Who does he think he is? Henry Rowan-Gardner? Oh wait, that was the pitcher.
I did the exact same thing. I don't. That could have been with you. At this point, I don't remember. I mixed up those movies in my head.
Well, no, one of them is the
Henry
kid.
Rowan Gardner was Rookie of the Year. We're talking about then Little Big League.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that kid's name was in that movie though.
Is that the one that has Timothy Busfield in it?
It is. It is. That's the one where that kid's like actually smart. He's making like good managerial decisions, taking the bat out of like their best player when they're asking to bunt. It's fantastic.
Billy is his
Billy
name.
Haywood. Right? Billy Haywood? Is that right? Or is that another baseball movie?
Clue Haywood was from Major League.
Which is so
it is Billy Haywood. You're correct. There you go.
So let's talk about Clue Haywood for a second. Have you and I talked about this before?
No.
Do you know who he is?
Yeah, it's Vucevic.
Okay, I guess it makes a lot more sense to you because you are older than I am.
Yes.
I didn't know that he was a former Cy Young winner.
Yeah, he was a pitcher, but he played a hitter in the game. Yeah.
I didn't know this until like 2 months ago. So I texted one of my friends here and I was like, look, I'm either going to blow your mind or you're going to tell me I'm the dumbest person you've ever met. Did you know that Clue Haywood was a former Cy Young winner? And he was just like, nope, you're right. You blew my mind. I mean, we quoted Major League. Like, I worked with him. We quoted Major League almost daily.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Phenomenal.
No idea. So, Jake, thank you for getting that lineup in. It means I can start crunching as soon as the men behind the scenes hook me up with a new ownership update. Let's talk hitting a little bit here.
Okay.
This feels like a slate where leverage for me is going to play a much bigger role than just highly ranked stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the order of operations for me right now in terms of ranking teams for what I would determine to be upside. I have the Angels as my fourth best stack. They are also going to be getting... The pitcher that they're facing is projected to get 21% ownership. I have the Brewers as my seventh best stack. They're projecting to face a pitcher with 17% ownership. I feel like I'm just going to get a lot of like high end, well, not high, maybe not high end is not the right word. I'm going to get a lot of stacks that are just the opposite side of pitching today. And I'm kind of excited about it, but then I think about everything at the top where it's just like 12% owned, 12% owned, 12% owned, 12% owned. And now I don't maybe I don't. Maybe this shifts. I mean, I'm going to find out in about 5 seconds, but is there a stack that stands out more to you than others?
I'm not getting Washington in
Okay.
my coaches. And that's to me a bit of a problem because I really want to get them against Jake Junis, who has allowed 50 home runs since the beginning of last season, which is third most in the major leagues. So, but I'm on the other hand, I'm getting a crap ton of Boston right now.
Okay.
So I bet if I just kick down my Boston cap, it'll just push it over to the Nationals since they're relatively priced the same. So my top hitters coming in right now are JD Martinez, Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, Robel Garcia, Kyle Schwarber, and Vlad Jr. That's perfectly fine with what I want to see, but I'm not getting it spread out to the other guys. So yeah. I'm glad those guys are coming up on the top because that means when I run my uncapped stacks, meaning my 4-0s and my 5-0s, my one-offs are going to be pretty good today. But because we have so many things jumbled in here, I'm having a hard time getting really much more than Boston, Chicago, Toronto. I guess Washington's coming in as my fourth, but it's half of those others, and then Cleveland, and then Baltimore. But by design, I want Baltimore against Thornton. There's no reason not to take Baltimore against Thornton.
Couldn't agree more there. The Orioles are a team that I kind of get more than the public generally, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again here. You were just talking about getting to the Nats. I'm going to take a look right now at Top Stack Tool, which is, I mean, if we don't say it enough, it's one of, if not the best thing that we put on this website, I think. Just the aggregation of Alex's chances of which one of these teams is going to be the top scoring team, getting the ownership there, how often are they of value. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect little one-stop shop to get a snapshot of what the day is going to look like. Nats right now, projected for 7th most 7th highest chance of being the top. Sorry, this is going to hurt your feelings, I think. 7th highest chance of being the top stack on DraftKings. They have the biggest gap, negatively speaking, between their chance of being the top stack and their current ownership. They appear to be a little overowned. I feel like the top stack is a little low. That this feels like a spot with that 5.6 run implied total. Jake Junis on the other side, a ton of lefty power, quite a bit of righty power. I kind of like these Nats here. Nobody's getting any crazy ownership on FanDuel. It's a little aggressive. Brian Dozier's at 29%, but I mean, Yan Gomes is the highest owned guy on DK at 14%, and that's because he's a $2,900 catcher. Everybody else is 10 or below. I think I'm more with you.
I mean, Juan Soto, Matt Adams going against Jake Junis. It's hot. It's humid. It's going to be in the upper 80s there. Humidity's above 60%. It really makes a difference in these mid-Atlantic stadiums with when you get that humidity up there. It does turn them into hitters' parks.
We're getting into that spot where I start to think, what does Alex know that we don't? Which is on a daily basis, we find out that it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to pick this apart, Adam Eaton, not very exciting. Anthony Rendon again may not play the whole game. I could see that playing out.
Yeah.
But Alex isn't impacting that in there.
No.
Brian Dozier better against lefties, but he still has power even at this point in his career against a pitcher like Junis. Victor Robles, kind of a guy. I mean, they're all fairly priced. No one's a screaming value.
No.
So perhaps that on DK, that's where he's saying that, you know what, there are a lot of other options here that might be a little bit better.
Yeah. Let's see. Who has the Boston right now highest chance of being a top stack compared to their current ownership? Who else standing out with a pretty big separation? Cubs by a little bit, Twins by a little bit, Atlanta, Baltimore, Angels.
Do you know that Jordan Zimmerman has another year at $25 million on his contract next year?
I didn't know he was making $25 million this year.
He signed a 4-year, or this is his 4th year with Detroit. It's basically averaged just in the mid, or I guess low 20s over that contract when they got him from the Nets.
I'm hopping to his FanGraphs page right now. Yeah, 5 years, $110 million deal. That is so much cheddar.
It's a lot. Because I thought, it's after yesterday started, I'm like, is he going to be around next year? And then I'm like, for $25 million, he's going to be doing something for Detroit next year.
It's fun to think about how Jordan Zimmerman is making not that much less than Kawhi Leonard. Meanwhile, there's guys like Chris Davis who are making more than that. Chris Davis, Orioles Chris Davis, not A's Chris Davis. 12:31 p.m. Even though lock is at 1:07, we're gonna call this one the midpoint. You know what happens now, right?
I do.
Dong picks, and what am I searching? Some of my I searched for did. I got a couple really weird old search results. I have not made a pick in a couple days, and that's probably not great for me. I'm gonna go over the standings as of right now. Did Nolan Arenado homer last night by any chance?
He did not.
Okay. You got one with Vogelbach, eh?
I was obnoxious about that. Yes. First thing I think I said on the show was, and by the way, my home run pick tonight is going to be Dan Vogelbach before we'd even started.
Well, it worked. It worked. Oh, we just got another ownership update, literally as I'm saying this. I got tagged a lot. Did our boy with the weird first name, Candelario, did he do something crazy yesterday? Because apparently I was getting tagged in a bunch of stuff. I did not pay attention to baseball yesterday.
Their game was delayed, and then he ended up, I think he had like 30 DK points or something.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Of all the days. No, I did not play any. We had some friends in town, so I'm going to sneeze. Give me 1 second.
Sure, no problem. Let's see. So we've got, so I'm looking at my picks here, and I'm going to go with Matt Adams.
Okay. That's on brand.
It has to be. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'd love to say Juan Soto, but he's not a chubby first baseman. So.
That's a fantastic pick, by the way. Between Junis, his just general ability, I'm gonna have a hard time disagreeing with the Matt Adams pick here. Let's see where he shows up in the model right now.
He's 22nd on your model.
That's your guess?
Yeah.
He's 19th. You were close.
Does that include the all-day slate or just the
just the early?
Okay.
So maybe that's where he would have been if I included the 4 o'clock games. Baldy in the Oaf, thank you for the bless you on the sneeze. It was an aggressive sneeze. I thought I was going to blow myself straight out of my office door. It was powerful. It was powerful. My body wanted it out. All right, I need to pick a home run pick here. And I'm not going to lie. I need to get off the schneid and on the board. Matt Adams into you. So you are currently leading with 17 dongs, 17 correct picks. Jake has 17 dongs as well, only 16 correct picks. Did get a double dong recently with Nomar Mazara. Chris sitting at 13, 12 correct picks, and I have 11 with 10 correct picks. I have not gotten a home run since June 14th. I cannot go into the All-Star break on that kind of schneid, so today is going to be the day that I break this awful, awful, awful streak. But now, who will it be? There's too many of these guys at the top. I'm not feeling confident that I'm going to get this right, but I have to do it. I am going to the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
I am going to take Anthony Rizzo.
That was before the show. That was going to be my pick until Matt Adams just spoke to me. He's the cover boy on the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article. I don't think you're really going to go wrong here. As we mentioned, Nova just getting killed by lefties. Nearly a 400 WOBA 230 ISO this season with 13% strikeout rate. That's just phenomenal.
Jake is also in with his pick. Trey Mancini. Mancini coming in 30th in the model.
Jake. See, Jake does this right. He likes to take the Chris Randone. It gets really crazy with this. He picked Pinder the other night, of all things.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Randone to get one on like an Inside the Parker. Great. This is really going well for me. We get Ted saying that he thought of me when he clicked on Candelario last night. He helped him to win the 4-seamer. Where do I send Josh his cut? I can send you my PayPal information, but I have a feeling you're just going to send me like a middle finger emoji or something. So I wouldn't totally blame you. Earl Fountain letting me know that I just jinxed Rizzo, so that's great. Not Adam Burst. Not sure if I should be happy or sad he picked Rizzo. You guys aren't helping me here. Put the good juju into the air and everything will be great.
Who's your all-in pitcher of the day? We haven't had people complaining about that for a
while. If I had to, I don't know if I'm gonna have one.
So it wouldn't be Wheeler?
It could be. James Paxton made a really big jump from this morning from when I wrote Spotlight Pitchers earlier today till now. So I think I'm going to be seeing some of that ownership as well. I'll have a lot of Trent Thornton, but it'll be hard to get too much north of 33. I mean, I'm guessing Wheeler is the guy that I end up most over the field, but I don't think that I'm going to be on like 60%, 70%, 80%. Like, I don't think anything's going to be that aggressive because there's just too many comparable guys. Like, if I look at my exposure caps right now on pitching on DK, the highest now I'm going to crunch a lot of extra lineups and then I'll be paring this down. So the caps aren't all that important, but Zach Wheeler is my highest cap at 18%. At best, he's going to end up in like 30% of my lineups.
Okay.
It's normally on some of these days, it'll be like, oh, Chris Sale's cap is 75%. I get 75% of him in a crunch, and then he ends up in like 95% of my lineups once I start sorting. But on a day like today, there's just too many legitimate arms at the top for me to be really heavy on any one guy. Ooh, another ownership update. Coming in fast and furious here. That means that I can start crunching as soon as I paste this in. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you wanted to make sure that we touched on? Anything that you noticed when you were putting together Spotlight Hitters and Stacks today?
No, just that there's a fair number of stacks, and as we've hit on, there's a variety of pitchers at the top. You can poke holes in a lot of them. You can make cases for them. I kind of am leaning towards Bauer more than anybody else, but
Is he getting slept on today?
it feels like it, but they still. I mean, let me see who Cincinnati. I'm sure Cincinnati has Puig in the lineup. I mean, they've got Puig, Winker, Suarez. Those guys are good hitters. I mean, this isn't a gimme, but he does get to face the pitcher, which is nice. He does get to face Joey Votto, which is nice. And then Farmer, Peraza, Iglesias, not scary at all. So to me, that feels really good. It is 88 degrees, 60% humidity with a slight breeze out to right field. Not the best, but that's really not that much different than Cleveland weather. It just happens to be a slightly smaller park, offset by the fact that he's facing the pitcher instead of a DH. So that's kind of a break even for me. But I like him at his 10K price point. So let's see, where did he come in for me? He is coming in at 20% for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm loading in my DK now. About to hit crunch.
Yeah, and that was on my 4-4s because that's usually a better representation of what pitching is really going to do. Just because there's no real good wiggle room with your batters. Whereas a lot of times when I go with the 5-0s and the 5-4s, my pitchers get a little bit better. Because the crunch is free to pick lower priced but decent point per dollar plays on a myriad of teams. It's not saying they have to be from 2 teams.
This is just a really weird day. Like, Charlie Morton is here, and most expensive pitcher on DK. Feel like he doesn't exist. We're barely talking about Trevor Bauer until 40 minutes into the show. Aaron Nola is on this slate. Not a peep. David Price, not a peep. I don't know who to talk about. There's it's just too many options, maybe?
Well, the way we have the popularity, I mean, it's all on DK. I didn't end up playing Yahoo today. But on DK, they're also evenly spaced. I mean, from 9 to 15%, you have Hendricks, Price, Morton, Wheeler, Urquidy, Corbin, Nola, Bauer, and at 17 is Musgrove.
Right.
There's not much difference between 10 and 17. There's really
no, not at all. No, all of that ownership on those top guys is irrelevant. What the legitimate number is, whether it's 12, 13, 14, those are all the same number. Nothing's changing the way that you're doing this.
I'm getting 20% Devin Smeltzer.
Oh, really?
There's my differentiation. Well, if I knocked his back, I'd end up getting 50% of Trent Thornton. I'm capping Thornton at 40. So
yeah, Thornton is the weirdest thing on the slate because the price is just problematic. It's too good. It's just simply too good. He shouldn't be 5. There's too much upside in his arm. I mean, he can K 10 guys today. Like, he's not some schlub, and he's got as good of a matchup as it can possibly be. I'm honestly slightly surprised that he's not owned more.
Yeah, I think what's knocking him down is the fact that he has, over his last 2 starts, has gone negative. But that's against Boston and at New York. The start before that, at Boston, he had 19 on 102 pitches. At Houston, 27 on 102 pitches. You know, he played Baltimore. Yeah, they knocked him around a little bit, but whatever. Then he played New York. Then he played Tampa. It's not like he's had easy opponents recently.
I just crashed my Excel sheet. That's fun.
Ooh, well, we have time.
Oh yeah, I'm not super worried about it. I just don't remember the last time I saved anything.
Yeah, it's a 107 start.
That's usually the worst part, when I don't remember the last time that I tried to save something.
Yeah, well, I just noticed that the MLB tiers lock at 1 o'clock or 1:10 today instead of the usual 1:35. So I'm attending to those lineups now.
Anything coming out in your crunches that you're like very surprised about?
Tyler Mahle popping up at 10% surprised me because I really like the lefties going against him. Let me pull up those numbers. That's something we haven't mentioned. So like most Cincinnati pitchers, he seemingly is bad against lefties, which is just wild that they have, Desclafani and him. And
yeah, that seems to, it's like they're trying to bring in that kind of guy.
So this season against 167 lefties, he's got a 364 WOBA, a 260 ISO. 20% strikeout rate, 40% ground ball rate, 40% fly ball rate. But if we go back 2 seasons, because he's a guy who's talented against righties.
Yeah.
So his last 431 lefties faced, 398 WOBA, 270 ISO. That's just, it's awful. So I mean, the thing with Cleveland is they have so many switch hitters. Plus they got Bowers and Naquin and Kipnis. How much does Greg Allen cost today?
34.
Minimum batting second. There goes the work laptop.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's not like you're going to need that after this show.
No shit. I had to have an extra table set up by me because I got too many things going on.
I know the feeling. I've got so many different places to put things in my office right now. It's problematic. Yeah. Oh man, I am not getting a lot of anybody today. Everything is low. This is just going to be a shotgun spray across the entire industry.
I don't like those days as much.
Neither do I. I like taking a monster stand sometimes. I feel better about the feeling you get when you have like an excessive amount of someone and it goes well is unparalleled. Those days where like I do end up on like 85% Max Scherzer and he goes for 39 DK points and it's just like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Let's take down this contest. Now, when those days are when I have 85% of a pitcher and he's Luis Castillo and he doesn't get out of the first inning, you don't feel as smart. It's kind of a bummer. Feels like stuff goes wrong there. Perfect time for everybody. I'm hitting a little bit of a lull. We've got 750 people in here right now. I don't think we have nearly enough likes.
That's a lot for a Sunday.
We're just a real popular duo.
Getting their fix in for the final time.
Yeah, you don't get to see these smiling faces for a couple days. Only shows we'll have from now until Friday will be Eddie talking Summer League. If you don't have that Summer League package, you can still get in. You should do that. Or we'll have Ben and Tim on Tuesday talking PGA and Ben and Jason Wednesday night. But no baseball coverage for the next couple days. I'm not upset about it. I need a break.
Yeah, I'm good with a little time off.
I'm feeling like Anthony Rendon. It's like, this is pretty much me just taking one at bat and going to sit it out.
Yeah.
All right, first 150 are in for DK. Time to change the stack size. Yeah, I think that I'm going to be taking much bigger stands in hitting than in pitching today. That's kind of rare for me. Normally my bigger stands are coming from the pitching side, but there's just too many good arms. Whoever I end up on with any sort of volume, I'm sure is going to be the guy that gets shellacked. Not going to be great. Look, we went from 76 to 113 likes. See?
Hey, thank you.
Ask and you shall receive. It'd be a perfect time for everybody to send me $1,000. I don't know. Worth a shot, right?
Make it so.
If I open up my PayPal and I've got like 25 grand in there, it'd be like, well, that worked too. Should ask for more. All right. If you guys want to get some questions in now, since we have all the lineups, I think Emac and I have touched on our main thoughts. I've got crunches running. I know Emac's working on lineups. So if you got any questions, feel free to drop them in. Smooth Savior in Premium Slack. I have Rizzo in 40% of my lineups. Thanks, Josh. Quite welcome, man. Quite welcome. I have really been reverse jinxing people a lot, huh? Or I guess regular jinxing.
It seems to be that way. I hadn't noticed, but it's or is this one on me because it's the cover boy on the Spotlight Hitters article? I don't know.
Even last night, I was just like, you know what? I like Ben Askren here. I think it's safe. I like Luke Rockhold. He got his clock cleaned. Wasn't a great day for MMA calls for me either. I'm happy the money is still in my FanDuel and DraftKings account. I'd be really depressed if this was going a different direction from a financial standpoint. Alrighty. I'm almost at 300 FanDuel lineups. I just hit 300 DraftKings lineups. One more crunch and I am in business. Do you run 4-4s on DraftKings by any chance? I just asked Jake this. I was curious if you do.
I do, but I've got it down to where it's about a quarter of my lineups at this point.
Okay.
Now, I don't sort like you guys do. I really should. We were talking about this in Slack last night. I run my 4 things and then I mix them up so I don't get all the same lineup types in the same contests.
Mm-hmm.
From that standpoint, but that's really about all I do. I don't do the rankings like you guys do, but in my own way, I'm doing them based upon what I'm doing with the stacks caps. So I'll start out like today. I started out everybody at 3% or 5%.
Okay.
Slowly worked my way up. You don't want to go 10, 15 on a bunch of different teams, because then like it's gonna what happened is what it did when I got all that Boston. So now I just went back and fixed it, so I'll get more nationals and stuff. But you got to pay attention to things like that. But I don't cap my batters.
Okay.
I do cap my pitchers.
Okay.
But then you have to be careful with what you're doing on your pitchers, because you want to go see what the makeup of some of your stacks are, and you can't be above the field on like Scherzer and Sale and somebody else on the same day, because your hitters, while you think you're getting a 4-4 stack, it's going to be the 7, 8, 9 guys or whoever's cheapest. So you kind of have to play around with these. I probably do, if I'm not on air, I do about 15 crunches till I get my projections right, or till I get my percentages where I want them to be, and I run those as 4-4s.
Okay.
And then I usually save about 10% of my lineups where I'm just like, God, I literally got none of this team. Let me run, some of that team and some of another team and go from there. So like if today, if I felt Baltimore was falling out too much, they'd be a team where I'm like, I've got to make sure I have something going against Thornton. So I would just set it to run 10 Baltimore lineups or whatever.
Gotcha. All right. I have my DraftKings crunch done. So I'm going to export that now, and we can touch on a couple exposures. Yeah, lock is 107, correct?
Yep.
We have 17 minutes to get there. Okay, here we go. Refreshing the DK sheet. I have no idea what's going to show up here. This should be fun. I'm hoping there's a hitting stack that I'm just like bonkers on. I'm cool with that for today. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like today's a good day to just go all in on something. Maybe I'll just run a 150 lineup train in the mini max and try to take the top 150 spots. How bad could that possibly go?
Well, it'd be perfect because you're leading into the All-Star break, and this is when DFS Twitter really gets fun. Because people about noon tomorrow are going to really get edgy because there's nothing to do. So this is when you get some nice Twitter fights in DFS world. Don't let it be you, is my advice.
Joe
to
Palumbo.
whoever's hearing my voice right now.
Nice to know that Joe Palumbo is Joseph Palumbo on Fangraphs and Joe Palumbo everywhere else. Fantastic. Oh, I'm still missing a guy. I've got a bunch of names that are all jacked up in my sheet today. Not helpful. No, I fixed you, Joe Palumbo. Did I not?
Is it Jose?
Ow. I pasted it into the wrong column. So I'm just not that bright, is really all there is to it. I make my own mistakes. Okay, so DraftKings lineups are in. Let's take a look at my preliminary pitcher exposures. And as I expected, I'm basically just flat on everything. 3% Morton, 8% Corbin, 10 on Nola, 19 Wheeler, 17 Bauer, 17 Price, 16 Hendricks, 25 Paxton, 12 Keuchel, which is not something I expected to see, 10 Musgrove, 23 Thornton, 8% Ivan Nova, which I feel like I should get punched in the face for. Very heavy on the Cubs.
You will, by Anthony Rizzo.
I don't know what that guy's talking about. Just gonna give you the old boot skis here. It's pretty weird. So highest exposed stack on the first crunch is the Cubs. Similar amount of Red Sox and Indians. Massively over on the field on the Angels, which I completely expected based on opposing pitcher ownership. Heavy on the Brewers. So that one went as expected as well. Biggest fade for me right now, looking like the Blue Jays. And I'm a little bit under the field on the Nats, but I feel like I need to crank the dials a little bit here. I don't like that pitching exposure. I feel like I gotta be too... I feel like I have to get too lucky when I have that many different guys. We're about to find out. Let's bump that to 41, that to 13, that to 46. Does that add up to 100? It does.
God, this is going to be a fun day.
It really is. It really is. I'm gonna watch some baseball today. Gotta rest up a little bit before entertaining starts again. Okay, now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. I like the way that that's shaking out. I've got a lot of Orioles now. No surprise there. I lowered my exposure to Trent Thornton, which I've been liking him all season. Now today's going to be the day where he goes crazy and I don't have him. Can't wait for it. I think that's good. I'm just going to go with that. Now FanDuel should be finished off.
Do you run in different browsers?
I don't. I don't. I run everything in the same one. I've never really had any issues like that. I assume it's just my computer. I've got 400 FanDuel lineups to look at. Now this could be a little bit more aggressive because of the way that pitching works. Let's get the FanDuel crunch in.
All right. While you're running that, they're asking in Premium Slack, do we like Cleveland on FanDuel? My answer is yes, any of the lefties.
Cleveland on FanDuel?
Yeah.
I will let you know in a second. I just clicked refresh. We are about to find out. Uh-oh, ESPN notification. What is it? Oh, U.S. women won. Yeah.
Well, that was a fast game.
I watched it kick off while I was at brunch. So, yeah, it feels fast. Okay, Cleveland on FanDuel. Right now, I am slightly underweight, but they do grade out as my third favorite stack. It just so happens that leverage is playing a bigger role. Why am I getting so much Dallas Keuchel? That feels so incorrect.
I'm getting a lot of Baltimore.
I got no Trevor Bauer on FanDuel. Actually zero.
Really?
Yeah. And Trent Thornton projected for 35% ownership on FanDuel. I got 6, and Alex's projections do not like him. That is interesting. All right, now I got to play with the dials a little bit. So, FanDuel exposures. Also still heavy on the Cubs. Very, 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 very heavy on the Angels. We are projecting the Angels on FanDuel at 2% aggregate ownership, and I got 17. Wow. I think I can dial that back a little bit. Seems like I don't need to be that heavy. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. What do I know? So let's do this. Let's bump this number up here. Bump that there. Actually, let's make that 35.
So I'm literally not getting the Nationals, and they're my favorite stack. So that's why I have my reserved X number of.
We run in your backup Nats crunches.
Yep.
Smart. Do I? Oh, that's the Cleveland question. I was just looking at it like, oh, another question that we got tagged in, but same question from before. Okay, made a little changes here. I need to walk back whatever's happening to the Angels because there's absolutely no reason for me to be that far over the field on the Angels. That's really not going to be helpful for me, I would imagine. All right, that's going to have to work. A lot of Brewers for me today. Are you getting to any Brewers? Joe Musgrove, kind of popular on both sites. Actually,
not particularly.
I think that I pasted DraftKings exposures into FanDuel or vice versa.
5% Milwaukee as well. And I have Musgrove capped at 15%, but it looks like I'm getting about 10. So I don't appear to be enthralled.
That's not going to be helpful. Yeah, I had DraftKings exposures into FanDuel, so things were looking kind of wonky.
That could do it.
A little bit better now. Makes a lot more sense for those Angels. I think this is going to work. I got a lot more reds than I was expecting, but that's fine. My lineups are ready. I'm about to put this stuff in. I'm going to have 9 minutes to spare. I'm not upset about that at all. Any big plans for the rest of the day? Closing out the holiday weekend?
Day job, workity work.
Yeah, I hear you. Luckily, this is the day job. No more workity work. Well, a little bit of workity work, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. You planning to do anything with the break?
Start my best ball research.
There you go.
Might throw some articles or some rankings up. We'll see.
Coming soon, man. Coming soon.
Laffy has a basic article up that's free on the homepage.
It does. Yeah, the NFL content is coming out fast and furious right now. It's only going to ramp up even more as we get closer to late August, early September. If we get any more questions in, feel free to drop them. Still haven't talked yet. It's a shame that we're going to the All-Star break. I haven't had a chance to talk about Kawhi and Paul George.
I think Russell Westbrook's kind of the more interesting one.
Is it?
If he bails on OKC, where's he going to go? God, I hope he goes to the Knicks.
Does it matter?
No.
I just look at him. Well, yeah, like I just don't think he's very good. He would need like a very specific team. It's not that I'm saying that incorrectly. I don't think that he's going to be carrying anybody to victory anytime soon.
That I would agree with.
Clearly, he's good. I don't mean it like that, but man, that contract is not going to age well. I hope he does go to the Knicks. I can't imagine why they would want to do that, but they're just on a very different timetable right now. I'm excited to see this Clippers team. I'm excited for the NBA just to come back, but nobody wants to hear this. FanDuel has Cruz back in. What do we know about the Twins lineup? Cruz is in, correct?
I thought
we're getting a lot of questions about it in Slack. That's why I'm asking. So Cruz was not in a certain site's update to start, and now a different site is putting Cruz in.
Where is Jake?
Yeah, Jake, what's going on with your Jakes, man?
This is where we go to the Twins on Twitter. See if they've posted their own lineup page. Nope. Why would they want to have done that? The two times you really want to look at the social media accounts on any sports team, starting lineup and weather. What are the two things they just try not to talk about ever?
Yeah, they opt out of that one.
Really, guys?
I don't see anything. I don't see a single tweet about it or anything. Jake says Cruz was out. Yeah, that much we agree with.
Yeah. I don't think he's there. Top pitcher on FanDuel, I'd probably say Wheeler for his price.
I agree. I have more Wheeler than I have anybody else. But I also have I have Paxton and Price really close too, so.
All right, hitting the upload button, which is always the moment.
Updated Twins lineup. Nelson Cruz in.
There you
go. That's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Because I'm not redoing my crunches. Who did he?
Oh, this is phenomenal.
Who did he replace?
Well, okay, so good news, bad news situation for me right now.
Oh God.
You ready? This is fun. This is the perils of DFS. So, whatever I did, I crunched with Cruz in the lineup. I have the wrong lineup in that ultimately ended up being the right lineup. But because he's not a part of Fantasy Cruncher, while I did that, I just have 0 Cruz, but I don't have anything to fix. Unbelievable. Do you have a lot of Twins? Wait, so Castro is the one that's out?
I have 14 lineups with Jason Castro.
He's out, right?
I don't know.
Oh, this is such a pain in the ass.
Why can't I do this?
I have a few lineups with Jason Castro. I wish I could hot swap straight to Nelson Cruz, but him being 4,800 isn't exactly fun. Also not a catcher. Who's the other?
Yep.
Is Mitch Garver still stupid priced?
Garver is way high. He's like 5K on DK.
Cool. I need a $3,600 catcher to fix this. They don't exactly grow on trees.
Is that how much Castro is?
Yes, and since DraftKings insists on making this experience as painful and awful as it could possibly be, I'm not going to go and do this dance like normal. Travis d'Arnaud, come on down. Looks like you're going to be the guy that's...
Yeah, I'm just going to global swap. It worked for me last night. I global swapped for first baseman Mark Conha to Dan Vogelbach.
Nice.
Of course, I also went doubled up my Jock Peterson for Mark Conha outfielder. That did not go as nicely.
I did a manual swap a couple nights ago and picked Devers, and he double donged. I was really excited about that. Is Garver normal priced on FanDuel? $500 more expensive than Castro. Replace player. One lineup could not be updated.
Who's pitching for Atlanta today?
Keuchel. Guy that I can't stop getting.
I'm going to take Jorge Alfaro.
Thanks.
Who has tied his career high, I believe, in home runs.
With
already this season? I don't know, like 11 or something.
Looks like Travis d'Arnaud is just my natural replacement here.
Crap, it's telling me I don't have people.
My lineups are updated. I'm good to go. If we're getting any more questions from Slack. If you're trying to get to Nelson Cruz, hustle, guys. 2 minutes. What time is the Twins game lock?
It's
Twins game locks at 2, so you've got some time if you want to get into a new Twins stack.
Yeah, whatevs. I'll just have no Nelly Cruz today.
How is it possible that the last lineup to come in is the one that got janky?
I don't, because they hate us. God, DraftKings is just a mess with their massive lineup pages.
It's really not great. It's really not great at all.
All right, there we go. Let's see. While we're doing this, let me get to the late slate and let's talk about that real quick.
Go for it.
Here, let me find that page where I got some notes. And this one. So I didn't really see anybody as a true stack today. Closest I came to it on the 4-game late slate. Remember, there's no ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Closest thing I've come to a stack is going against Alex Young. He's a lefty. He's going for Arizona. He was the first pick of the second round in the 2015 draft. He pitched for 3 seasons at TCU. He's been in the minors for 5 seasons, has about 450 innings with a 4.3 ERA, 1.4 whip, 7.5% strikeout rate. A third of those innings are coming at AAA Reno. So that's nice to see. His strikeouts have been ticking up a bit, still not great. And I like Arenado, Desmond, and Story. That's really about it against him. If we look at the pitchers, we've got 8 of them. So I think Jeff Samardzija is intriguing because he is 1 at home and 2 going against a relatively righty team. I like Jack Flaherty, but he's not good against lefties. And for whatever the Giants do, they can put out a bunch of lefties. Their projected lineup has 6 in it with Belt, Yaz, Dickerson. I really like Dickerson today. Pablo Sandoval, I like him today as well. Brandon Crawford and Panic. So, I mean, Crawford and Panic are punch and Judy hitters, but they're still lefties. So, but the Flaherty's priced for that on DK. Joey Lucchesi going against the Dodgers, tough matchup for him. He is your kind of contrarian play. Ross Stripling on the other side for LA. He went about 80 pitches in his last outing. Didn't quite get to the full 5. I bet he gets to the full 5 today, but not much beyond that. But I like him going against San Diego. It's intriguing. They're going to put out a ton of righties because that's really all they have. Their righties do have powers against fellow righties. However, they strike out at an above average rate. Herman Marquez is the tough one to get to. He's 10,100 on DK. The roof will be closed in Arizona. So he is probably going to be my second most favorite pitcher. But I'm not seeing bats that we have to pay up for. So I haven't done my lineups yet, but I bet I'll be able to make Herman Marquez work. Mangden is kind of, the Mariners are running out Matt Carastidi as the opener, and then it's lefty, not Tommy Malone, but the other one. I've lost track of him, Wade LeBlanc.
Yeah.
So I still
almost said Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, I'll be there for you. Whoa, it's Joey Lawrence. What did he always say? How you doing?
I almost did whoa as well there.
Yeah. Any event, we've got the Mariners. I like Vogelbach and Narvaez against Mangden. I like any of the righties against the Mariners today. And then wrapping it up. That was all four. There we go. So I'll be doing office hours. We'll talk about it, strategies, leverage. We can talk about, I know some people were asking me a bunch of Excel questions in private messaging. I'll help out with that, whatever we can. It's hard to help out during lock before going on a show. So
yeah. Well, that's it, everybody. Best of luck here. We will not have any baseball shows for a couple days. All-Star break is upon us. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when Ben and Tim go live on Tuesday and when Ben and Jason go live Wednesday night. And you won't get any notifications when Eddie goes live because we have locked those streams down. Those are subscriber only. If you want to see them, you need to subscribe. Live Before Lock is our promo code, 50% off your first month with us, any monthly package you choose. Enjoy the All-Star break, everybody. I'll be back Friday morning, I guess, with Adam to break down Friday's slate. Emac, anything else?
That's all we got. Have fun, gamers.
There we go. Adios, everybody. Enjoy the week.